The fuck? All right, everybody, we're going to get started here in about 10 minutes. We start at 5:30. So just sharing things out. So if you all have joined us on YouTube, that's great. If you go to Facebook, okay, like I was saying, I had to turn my mic off because I had an echo. But we are going to get started here in about 9 minutes, roughly at 5:30. And you all can go to my Facebook page if you want to, and you can go to it and see the live link if you're members with me on Facebook. Now, anybody who's coming in and trying to disrupt the meeting, you're going to be, dismissed, banned, and reported. So let's keep a clean meeting and let's have a good, productive meeting. This is something new that we're doing. I know you all haven't seen me do lives in a long time, but we're going to start doing a live every Sunday. But as you'll see, once we get into the meeting, I'll let y'all know a little bit more about the new stuff that we have that we've done and things that we're doing and we're going to be doing in the future. All right. I'll see y'all in just a little bit. All right, looks like we got about 2, maybe 3 minutes left, 2.5 minutes left. So I'm gonna go ahead and start sharing my screen here a little bit. Wait and see if we're gonna get anybody who's gonna join us live here on the Zoom. And check see what we got going on Facebook, on YouTube. We have 2 people watching on YouTube. Who's watching now on YouTube? No one's checked in on YouTube yet. What do we have on Facebook? Like we're shared out on Facebook, but we don't have anybody who's tuned in yet. So I know this is not the normal meeting time and place where we normally meet, but this is what we're going to be doing from here on out on Sundays at 5:30. And I'm going to, if we don't get anybody shows up, I'm going to go over some things I wanted to go over with you all and put that out. So let me get back and go ahead and start recording. Got about 2 minutes left. All right, I'm going to start my recording. Let's get started. All right, good evening, everybody. This is Calvin Butler with the RBBS Logistics Learning Centers and the National Dispatches Network. I know you all haven't seen me in a while. This is the first live that I've done in a minute because I have been so busy with the freight brokerage stuff. As you all know, we started our freight brokerage consulting firm about 1.5 years ago, and we have recently picked up quite a few clientele that we've been working with. You all know Hauler Board. We've been putting a lot of stuff out there about Hauler Board logistics, and we got them up and going. And looks like we're going to be very, very profitable with them here in the near future. We've also have a tentative contract that we've signed with Spirits Logistics. We're waiting for some stuff from them, and we got about 4 more that we're going to be contracting with. Matter of fact, I've got a meeting tonight at 8 with a prospective client who may want us to take over their freight brokerage firm. Also, we're doing the freight broker franchises that we've been doing for Hauler Board Logistics, and we're soon going to be doing those for Spirit Logistics. And we got another company that we think we're going to be signing up pretty soon called Race Logistics. And so we're going to have those franchise models out for all those different brokerage firms. And that's one of the things I want to talk about tonight. I wanted to go over some stuff with you all because this new format, I'm going to introduce a new format that we're doing. Look, let me start sharing my screen here real quick because I wanted to show you all some things here. As you all know, that we're all on YouTube. As you all know, I'm going to go to my other YouTube channel here real quick and show you all some stuff. We had been doing dispatch training for well over 2-3 years. And if you were on our other platform in dispatch training, you still get access to all the tools, resources, training, support and everything. But there's no need for us to have a live dispatch training meeting every week because we've gone over everything there is to go over about dispatching. If you all want to know where to find all the dispatch training at, you can just go here to our playlist and you're going to look for how to dispatch training. I'm going to pull it up for you here. Consulting. I have a whole lot of playlists here. How to identify, how to dispatch training. And there it is. We've got 27 videos on how to dispatch training. Okay. View full playlist. And there they are. We have 27 videos on how to dispatch training. And there's only about really 6 steps to dispatching. So if we're looking at 27 videos, that means we have at least what? 5 what's that? 6 times 4 is, yeah, we've got at least 4 full, all 6 videos, the entire series. We got at least 4 series on here. And it's all the same stuff. So, if you want to know anything about dispatch training and how to dispatch, just go and pull up this list. And they're all, it's all right here. But we start off with compliance. We go to locating carriers. These are the steps, okay? And the steps we brought them in. We deal with the pitch. Then we go with dispatch agreement. Then we go with load acquisition, finding the freight. Then we go with rate confirmations, how to confirm your rates and everything, this is that, and do the rate confirmation. And then we do the invoicing. That's how to get paid. That's number 6. And then, as you see, we start all over again. We go through compliance, and we get to just start all over again. So there's no need for us to keep having the same training every week on dispatch training. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to do something that everybody says that they want. Everybody, I mean, we see this all the time. We see people on Facebook, we see them on LinkedIn, we see them all over the place. I'm trying to stop my sharing here. Give me a second here, y'all. We see them all over the place. There we go. We see them on LinkedIn, and we see people all over the place, and they're always asking about mentorship. Who does mentorship? Who can I get to mentor me? Well, here's the problem with mentorship. No one's going to mentor you for free. Okay, let's be honest. If someone was to really try and mentor you one-on-one you would have to pay them what, $40,000, $50,000 a year just for them to mentor you? Because that's the only way it's going to be worth it to you. Okay, they have to spend an inordinate amount of time that they've got to invest in just mentoring you. That means when you call them up all the time, that means they'll give you advice all the time. That means you have a training session with them all the time. That means, and if they're doing that, how are they making a living? Let's be honest. So what I started doing was I started to do a subscription mentorship type of network. This new, what you all see now, mentorship for freight logistics, for freight industry entrepreneurs. That's what we're doing every Sunday. Every Sunday night, we're going to have a mentorship session from 5:30 until about 6:30. You all can come in and ask me questions. It can be freight brokering, it can be dispatching, it can be trucking, it can be anything about the industry. Now, what makes me qualified to give you advice about the industry? Well, I've been in it for quite a while, and I've done everything in the industry. I started out as a truck driver, was Covenant Transport, team driving, no less. Truck never stopped, so I got a lot of miles. On the road in team driving with Covenant Transport. And with Covenant Transport, it's just drop a hook. We pull every type of trailer. So I pretty much know about flatbed. I know about dry vans. I know about reefers. We pull some heavy haul stuff. We've done it all. We have done it all. We pulled it all. We've seen it all. We've done it all. Okay. After working with Covenant, I came home, got my own truck, went back out as an owner operator. Did very well as an owner operator, by the way. First year, gross $541,000 my first year as an owner operator. So I understand, what owner operators go through, and I know about being out there on the road and some of the hazards and stuff you run into and the things you have to deal with. So I know that side of the business. After doing that for a while, I came back home and I started my own brokerage firm. So I know about brokering. I know what it takes to broker freight. I know what it takes to make a brokerage firm successful. And then, of course, I started my training platform where I've been teaching and training people since 2017. Been doing the training platform and dispatching since 2017. And then in 2021, we launched our BBS LLC corporate consulting for freight broker startups, where we actually contract with young freight brokerage firms and we run their day-to-day operations. So I have a wide range of knowledge and experience when it comes to freight brokering and when it comes to dispatch and when it comes to truck driving. So pretty much anything you want to know about the industry, I can give you some good advice on it and kind of steer you in the right direction and show you how to make money within the industry. So That's really what it's all about. You want to know how to make money within the industry. And I can definitely show you how to do that. All right. So let me start by sharing my screen, and hopefully we get some people who will join us live here. If we don't, we're gonna go ahead on and show you all some stuff. See, we've got 5 people watching right now on YouTube. No one has checked in on YouTube yet. Y'all go ahead and check in and let me know who you are so I can say hi to you. And if you have a question, you can post it right here on YouTube. And you can post it, and I'll be happy to answer your question for you if you all want to post a question here on YouTube. Okay? If y'all decide you all want to post a question here on YouTube. All right. So let me start. I'm actually sharing my screen now. So let me start going over some stuff. Now, one of the things I want to talk about was our new structure, our new website design that we have for the RBBS Logistics Learning Center. If you notice here, when you go to the RBBS Logistics Learning Center, that's therbbsllc.com. Okay. You come over here and you click the enroll now. It'll take you to an area where you see everything that we offer. And we offer a lot. You can sort it by newest, from low to high, from high to low, A to Z, how you want to do it. Let's go from low to high on pricing. Okay, so as y'all can see, we offer a lot with the RBBS Logistics Learning Center. We've added a lot of new courses, and we have some ebooks, and we have different programs here now. Some of the newest programs that we have is our freight broker management website design and maintenance fee. Now, this is the only fee that's involved, but this is the first fee that's involved with us taking over your freight brokerage firm. If you have a freight brokerage firm, if you are a freight brokerage firm owner, and you've been trying to run your freight brokerage firm and you have not been making money at it, give us a call, okay? Give us a call. One of the things that we're gonna do is, first of all, we're gonna take a look at your current website, and we're gonna need to redo your website anyway, because the way we set up your freight brokerage firm, it has to be compatible with how we do business and how we train all the people who we're gonna bring in to work for your freight brokerage firm. So if you have a freight brokerage firm and your freight brokerage firm have not been profitable, you may want to get in contact with us, okay? The first thing you can do is you can go here and you can click on this and go ahead and contract us to rebuild your website, okay? You can finance this as low as $87 per month. $2,500 is what it costs for us to revamp your website and rebuild your website. And we build pretty good websites. As you can see here, this is Hollywood's site that we took over, and we rebuilt their website, as y'all can see here, and it's a very, very, very good website. So we come in and we design the best website that's going to draw the attention of shippers, carriers, and prospective customers, and we make your site extremely functional. Okay, so we're going to design for you a top-of-the-line premium website that's going to be extremely functional and is going to impress both shippers and carriers alike. One of the other things that we're going to do, on top of designing your website, we're going to recruit, hire, and train all of your salespeople. As you can see here, we have a huge sales staff that we recruited, hired, and trained for Hollywood. And this is what makes brokerage firms successful. Okay, you got to have salespeople. You can't run a brokerage firm by yourself. You can't run it just one or two, 2 or 3 people. You have to have a huge sales force. And we currently have about 55 salespeople at Hollywood right now. Okay, so this is one of the things that we do when we come in and we take over your freight brokerage firm and run the day-to-day operations of it. So if you are a freight brokerage firm and you need help with your freight brokerage firm, if your freight brokerage firm is not making money, if you want it to start making money, get in contact with us, 866-973-6445. Extension 1, that's my extension. You can call me and we'll sit down and talk about what's to take over your freight brokerage firm and run your day-to-day operations. We also incorporate stuff like a franchise model. Now, franchising actually helps the freight brokerage firm to build what's called cash reserves. Okay, because every freight brokerage firm needs cash reserves. And that's the problem with a lot of these freight brokerage firms have right now. They're trying to operate their firms and they have no cash reserve. Why should a carrier or a shipper do business with you if you don't have the ability to pay your carriers while you wait to get your money from your shipper? Because factoring companies can't factor all your freight. They can't do it. They're going to give you a credit limit for each customer, okay? Let me give a credit. I mean, the highest I've seen so far with one of our customers, and one of our customers has $41 billion in revenue. That's a lot of revenue. Been in business for 20 years. And they gave them $150,000 line of credit. That's it, $150,000. Now, with the amount of freight that they're sending over, if they're sending over 25, 50 loads a day, and we're just booking 25 loads a day from that one customer, the average load is $1,500, $1,800. We've spent that, we've gone through that $150,000 in the first week, in the first 4 days, really. So, factoring can't factor all the loads that need to be, all the freight that needs to be factored from a high profile client. So you're gonna have to rely on net 30, net 60, and net 90. But the problem with that is, the problem with net 30, net 60, and net 90 is that small trucking companies, they can't afford to wait 30, 60, or 90 days for their money. They just can't do it. Okay, they're already operating on what I call a shoestring budget, and they cannot wait to get their money. They got to have their money within 3 to 5 days after they drop that load. Okay, and if you run out of your factoring credit with the customer, and the customer hasn't paid some of that credit off yet, what are you going to do? Stop moving freight for them? Of course not. You're going to give them an in-house line of credit, like we would do with some of our shippers. We give them shippers as high as $1.5 million on their in-house line of credit. Why? Because we need to keep moving their freight. And if you're going to do that, then you need to figure out who you're going to pay on which of your carriers you're going to pay on through your factory, and which carriers are you going to put on a net 30, net 60, net 90, and which carriers you're going to pay out of your own cash reserves that you have stored away for your own brokerage firm. So these are some things that needs to be addressed when you're starting your freight brokerage firm. You need to understand that. When I started my first freight brokerage firm, I actually went out and got 2 investors. They actually invested $266,000 each, and that was my cash reserves. And that's why my brokerage firm was so successful the first year. We grossed $7.6 million. Why? Because we had a lot of cash. We had almost $600,000 in cash reserves. So, and that's why we was able to bring on a lot of great shippers and bring on a lot of trucking companies, because we could afford to pay trucking companies and keep running that freight because we had that cash reserve to pay the truckers and pay those carriers while we waited for our money to come from the shipper. Okay. Now, I would not necessarily advise you going out and getting investors come to push you under the gun to where you got to make a lot of money to pay those investors back. Okay. So, but we have implemented ways. Our way of raising cash reserves is to expand the brokerage firm. And we expand the brokerage firm through franchise. We expand the brokerage firm through franchise. I mean, it's a very simple model. And the reason why this works so well when it comes to cash reserves, because we're only charging $2,500 for the franchise fee, for the initial franchise fee. And then it's $199 a month that covers all of their expenses for their franchise. Now, we allow 4 franchises per state. If we hit our goal of all 48 states, that's 4 franchises per state. That's $2,500 times 194. Well, 190, 194 franchises. 48 states, 4 franchises in each state, 194 franchises. That's going to give us $485,000 in cash reserves. So, and it broadens your brand. It also lets shippers know that you have branches in just about every state to cover all their lanes. So they know that you have the ability to cover whatever lanes that they're in. Carriers are more confident with working with you because you do have cash reserves. They see that you have cash reserves. And they know that if a small carrier who needs their money right away within 3 to 5 days after dropping the load, they have confidence that we're going to be able to pay them. We're not running our brokerage firm on a hope and a prayer, right? We hope that we don't exhaust our credit with the factory company. We pray that shippers pay us, in a timely fashion so that we get the carriers paid in a timely fashion. That's what's called a hope and a prayer. Okay. With cash reserves, you don't have to do that. With cash reserves, you're going to build your brand. By doing the franchise model, you're going to accomplish several things. You're going to build your brand, right? You're going to, expand your reach, right? You're going to become a very large brokerage firm, okay? Because you have different branches in different areas. You're going to bring in more money because each branch is bringing in a certain amount of money. So, and this is outside of the booking of the freight. This is outside of booking on the freight. This is just money you bring in on cash reserves from your franchises, from your branches. Okay. Now remember, you also those branches are each paying $199 per month. Okay, that's their monthly franchise fee. $199 a month times 194 branches. That's $30,000 a month. Okay, cash reserve revenue, reoccurring cash reserve revenue. Okay, that can be used to that can pay all your bills that you need, that you have to pay for your freight brokerage firm, and at the same time, it gives you a reoccurring amount of money that you can use to pay, small carriers. Now, large trucking companies that we have contracts with, let's say like a Night Transportation, we took over Swift, they have more than 25,000 trucks now. Or we got a contract with one of the largest Landstar agencies, 97,000 trucks. Companies like that, they don't need to be paid right away. They don't have to rely on factory. Those bigger companies that have more than 50 trucks, chances are they are happy or satisfied with being on a net 30, net 60, and net 90. Okay, it's those smaller companies that you have to worry about, who you have contracted, that needs their money right away. The guy who has 1 truck, 2 trucks, 3 trucks, maybe 5 trucks. You have to worry about those guys, because those guys are going to need their money within 3 to 5 business days after they drop the load. They can't afford to wait on their money. So cash reserves is a very important and component when it comes to freight broker. Let me see if we got any questions here. We got Sonia Lawrence on the line. She says, hello. Hey, Sonia, how you doing? I don't know if anybody has any questions, but we were just talking about cash reserves and how that works, and everything. But that is a very important feature, a component when it comes to brokering. A lot of people don't realize that, but it is extremely, extremely important component when it comes to brokering freight. Another thing that I wanted to go over today is, let me jump over here. All right. Here's another thing I want to jump on. All right. Let me stop my share real quick so y'all can focus on me. I hear this from a lot of truck drivers. I hear this from a lot of owner operators. Owner operators, for some reason, they think that brokers control the lane rates. They think brokers have something to do with what the lane rates are. They think shippers set the lane rates. and I'm gonna clue you all in on something. Brokers nor shippers have anything to do with what the lane rates are. I know y'all are saying, oh, what? Shippers don't control what they pay for the lane? No, they don't. I'm sorry to tell you, they don't. So if you think that the shippers are responsible for the low rates that are happening right now, or the low paying lane rates that are in effect right now, they don't. If you think brokers have something to do with it, we definitely don't have anything to do with it. Okay, brokers definitely don't have anything to do with the lane rates. Okay, lane rates are determined by all types of outside influences. The economy, and the economy is determined by, it could be everything from if there's a major war somewhere, and let's just say out of that major war, we receive a lot of grain, oil, coal, or resources that's got to come out of the area, but now that is stifled because they have a war going on, and you can't get those shipping lines, and those lines, those things, that stuff can't come here as easily and as large scale as it used to. Or it costs more because you have to add security and all this other stuff, and you got to have higher insurance to move it and all this type of stuff. So that's part of what causes rates to either go up or down. Gas prices go up, or gas prices plummet. If we don't have enough fuel that's coming in, we have to buy more fuel and more than fuel that we use that we're producing ourselves. Food shortages, drought, weather, fires, storms, natural disasters, the job market, the economy, inflation, recession, politics, presidential elections, new laws. I mean, that's a whole slew of things that determines lane rates. But shippers and brokers are not one of them that determines those what those lane rates are. We have nothing to do with lane rates. Brokers don't determine lane rates. Shippers don't determine lane rates. So I'm going to go over real quick with you all how lane rates work. Okay. I know. Now, I'm not saying that there are not brokers out there, because there are. There are. And I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that there are not brokers out there that take money from your lane rate and use that for their profit. I'm not going to say that doesn't happen, because it has happened. Okay. Now, I don't teach that way. I've never taught that way. I've never ran a brokerage firm that way. All the brokerage firms that we manage the day-to-day operations of, we don't run the brokerage firms that way. All of our salespeople, they will tell you that we teach them how to negotiate margins. Now, I started talking about margins really about 2 years ago. I can go back to a video, a few videos where I was talking about margins, and I had a lot of negative comments from other brokers saying that, you know, what are you talking about margins? There's no such thing as a margin. You don't know what you're talking about. You know, that's not how it works. Well, that is how it works. That's how it was supposed to be working. And anybody who was not negotiating margin, they were stealing from the carrier, because the lane rate is for the trucking company. That's their money. Okay. We shouldn't be touching lane rates. And every legitimate broker knows this. Every legitimate broker knows that they have to negotiate a margin on top of the lane rate with the shippers. Now, I'm going to show y'all some stuff that you all may not have been privy to. Okay. This is your standard load board, but brokers have access to what's called rate checks or lane rates when they join load boards. That's why we pay a little bit more for the load board. We have a different type of access. Now, what brokers do when we get a shipper and the shipper says, well, we reach out to a shipper, Mr. Shipper, we see here that you have a whole bunch of lanes that you need to move freight in. I'm looking at here, and you've got 50 loads a day that run to Chicago to Portage, Indiana, or whatever, a little short run, whatever it may be. But let's say we may look at this and say, Mr. Broker, we see that you have 50 loads a day that runs from Dallas, Texas, to, let's say, New York. New York City. All right. And let's say those are flatbed loads. Okay. So we're going to put in, this is called a rate check. This is how we check the lane rates. So what we do is we look at those lanes and we say, okay, you got 50 loads that run each week from Dallas, Texas to New York. Or you got 20 loads that run each week from Florida, Tallahassee, Florida to Chicago, Illinois. Or you got 70 loads or 10 loads that run a day, that runs each day from Bainbridge, Georgia to Chicago, or whatever the case may be. So what we do is, when we're talking to that shipper, we come in and let's say they're flatbed, and we come in and we look at that lane. Okay, you see that lane right there? We put in the flatbed and we click check the rate. All right, now what it's gonna do, it's gonna load up all the freight that ran that lane in the past, few months, in the past 30 days, 90 days, 60 days, or whatever. Now, it's going to give us several things here. One of the things it's going to give us, it's going to show us that route. See right there, all up to New York, give us the miles, 1,565.76 miles. It tells us what the average rate was for a flatbed, $2.14. That's not a very high rate. We don't set that rate. That rate is determined by what carriers got paid during that time frame. Okay, I can come here and I can literally put in and see what the time frames were. Like if I go here, I check during the in August, the rates were that. If I move this over, it'll show me what the rates were back in October. Then it'll show me what they were in November, December, January, February, this March, April, May, or whatever the case may be, right? June, right? The lane rates for June on the low end, it gives us three categories. It gives us a low, a mid, and a high. Base law is saying that if if there were 700 trucks that ran that lane during that month, right? Flatbed trucks that ran the exact same lane, it tells that on the low end, truckers got paid $1.91. In the middle, a lot of truckers got paid $2.14, as you all can see there. And then during that time frame on the high, some truckers got paid $4.04. So that's the lane rate. We don't determine that. The lane rates are what the lane rates are. We don't have any say-so of what the lane, shippers don't have any say-so of what the lane rates are. It's just showing you what truckers were paid during those months, during that time frame, what the average lane rate is. That is called a lane rate. We as brokers are not supposed to touch that money. If the lane rate says that you're supposed to get $2.14, that's about what you're going to get. You're going to get somewhere between that $2.14 and maybe $3, okay? Because it all depends on what we can get the shipper to agree to, all right? But the shippers have the same capability as looking at the lane rates. So if they're looking at this lane rate, they see, okay, well, the average is 214. I'm not willing to pay more than the average. That doesn't mean that some trucks didn't get paid $4.04 because they did. That doesn't mean some trucks didn't take less and went for $1.91 because they did. But it shows that the average was $2.14. All right. So we may decide, okay, well, I'm looking at this and I'm seeing that back in March, the average was 227. See right there in that little space, right? I'm right in there. If I go here and I click it and it says March, it says the average was 227 in March. All right. Move it over a little bit more in April, it was 228. It moved over a little bit more. And then in May, it was 242. It went up in May. It moved over a little bit more and it went down in June, back to 214. All right. So I may say, okay, well, since it was recently had an average of 242, but it had a high of 273, I may decide to try and hit that shipper and say, Mr. Shipper, okay, the lane rate is showing that it was an average of 242 to 273. So let's say 253 on the lane rate. Now, the shipper's gonna look at that shipper and say, well, I don't like that 253. I like the 242. I like the 214 on what it is now. Okay. Now, whatever we get the shipper to agree to on the lane rate, that's your money. That's your money. But the shipper is not gonna go way less than what the lane rate is saying you are supposed to be paid. Okay. So we're going to land somewhere between that 214 and that 404, between that average and that high. Chances are we're probably going to land somewhere close to $2 or $3 per mile. So now, if we do that, okay, if we land at that $3 per mile, or let's say we land at 275, here is how we make our money. That $2.75 or that 214 or whatever it is whatever is determined what the lane rate is. So now usually on long loads, you're not going to get a very high lane rate on long range loads. 1,000 miles, 1,500 miles, 2,000 miles, you're not going to get a very high lane rate. On shorter loads, you get a higher rate per mile. So they pay higher on the lane because they're shorter loads, okay? So on something like this, you're probably going to land probably not much more than 225, 250. So let's say 250 on the lane rate. $2.50 on the lane rate. Now, that's your money. Okay? We're going to do our best to get the shipper to go at that higher mark on that lane rate. But we don't set those lane rates. Okay? The guidelines are set. Within that guidelines is where we're going to fall with that shipper. Okay? So if 250 is where we fall with that shipper, that's your money. We don't touch your money. That's yours. That's the carrier's money. That's the trucking company's money. That's not our money. We're not supposed to touch that money, right? It's not ours. But we say to the shipper, Mr. Shipper, since we have 147,000 trucks, and out of those 140,000 trucks, 47,000 trucks that we have that we're contracted with our brokerage firm, about 87,000 of them are flatbeds. Now, for us to utilize our large fleet or our large network of flatbed trucks to move your 50 loads per week that's in that lane, we're going to need a margin of approximately 15%. Okay, so we start off there. So that's $2.50. That's your money. That's the trucker's money. That's not ours. That's not the broker's money. That's the trucker's money. Okay, so we're going to try to get our money from the shipper now, because we are providing them access to all those trucks that can move that freight. So, Mr. Shipper, we need a 15% margin. So that plus 15%. Now, this is our money. 37 or 38 cents per mile. That's our money. That $2.50 per mile, that's your money. We don't touch your money, you don't touch our money. Okay, now, can we give up some of our money to you if we so choose to? Yes, we can, if we can afford it, and if we see, but if that's at our discretion, we're not obligated to give you our money, just like you're not obligated to give us any of your money. Okay, you work for your money, you move the load. We work for our money. We negotiate our margin on top of whatever money your lane rate says that you're supposed to get. Plain and simple. Okay, so that 37 cents per mile, that 0.375, that's our money. So we take that 0.375, 0.375 is going to be our cut, and that load is going how many miles? 1,565.76. So that times 1,565.76. And that's our brokerage fee. The margin is our brokerage. This is what we make on that run, $587.16. And that's what we pay our people out of. Everybody is paid out of the brokerage fee. Okay? Okay, so this is how we make our money. Now, remember that 0.375 went on top of, let's say, the 250. All right, so you got 250, right? So that means you're making, if the lane rate was 250, you're making, the trucker gets times 1,565.76. So that's your money, $3,914.40. That's it. Okay. Our money is $500 and some odd dollars. Your money is $3,900. You know, some change. Now, when you all call a broker and you all look at that and say, because that's what we post. We post what you're supposed to get. We don't post what you're supposed to get plus our cut. No. We're not posting what you're supposed to get and our cut. We post what you're supposed to get. Now, when you see that, a lot of times y'all call us, well, is that the best you can do? Now, it's at our discretion if we want to take money out of our pocket and offer it to you as a little bit more money to go with your lane rate. We're not obligated to do that. I mean, why should we be? I mean, we're trying to feed our family, you're feeding your family. Your cut is $39.14. Why? Because I mean, obviously you get a higher cut. Obviously the lane rate is going to be higher. Why? Because you're doing what you're supposed to do. You're moving the load. Whatever we negotiate on top of that has nothing to do with what your lane rate is. Has nothing to do with what your lane rate is. Okay, so let's check some stuff on, see if we got any comments. Well, we still don't have any comments. All right, so all right, but anyway, but that's how they go. But that's how that works. Okay, look, we don't touch your money. You don't touch our money. If we have it to spare, if you say, well, I'm gonna need an extra $100 to move that load, or an extra $200 to move that load. I mean, we may take a short amount, because when you come in and say, okay, well, is that the best you can do? And then what happens? The broker say, well, let me check to see what we got on that load. What they're doing is they're checking their margin. They are checking their margin to see if they can spare it. Now, if they got it to spare, 500. I've had some margin sometimes where the brokerage firm was making about $800, $900, but the carrier was always making like $5,900, $5,900. It was like a 2,200 mile run. The load was paying like $3 per mile, or so it was making $6,000 some odd dollars on the load and we were making like maybe $1,100 on the load. And I've had carriers say even then, well, that best you can do. I say, well, let me check. And and if we're over $700-800 on a load, I may come back and say, okay, well, we can stand to give up, another 150 or whatever the case may be. Sometimes a little bit higher, maybe 200, maybe 300. And we'll settle for like a $400 broker's fee. Sometimes we'll settle for a $300 or whatever the case may be. Okay, but this is how lane rates work. This is how brokers get paid, or how we're supposed to get paid. Okay, we're not supposed to touch your money. You don't touch our money. Lane rates are not determined by us. Lane rates are not really determined by the shipper. They're determined by all the other factors out there that control the economy and what's going on in the world. All right. All right. That's probably going to do it. I want to make an announcement now. We're going to do this every Sunday night. Hopefully, we'll have more people who will get involved, because like this is new, and hopefully after everybody sees this, they'll understand more about it, and you all will get involved with it, and everything. But I'm going to show you all what we got coming up. If you really are interested in getting mentorship, okay, we have a mentorship program that we literally just started today. This is our mentorship, okay? Mentorship to freight industry entrepreneurs. Everybody talks about they want mentors. How can I get a mentor? Can someone please mentor me? Well, no one's going to mentor you for free, and you should not want someone to mentor you for free, because you're asking them for their expert advice and asking them to do work, and you're not going to pay them anything. Come on, man, let's be real. Okay, if you want real mentorship, okay, something that's as close to mentorship as I can afford to provide, this is a mentorship program. Okay, mentorship to freight industry entrepreneurs. The enrollment into our mentorship program is $99.95. That's the enrollment. And then after that, you pay $39.95 monthly. That's your monthly subscription fee. What do you get? You get to literally join our live mentorship broadcast via Zoom every Sunday from 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm not talking about just watching it on Facebook. You get the actual link where you can come in, join in on the Zoom link, where you can be a part of the program. You can ask questions, ask many questions that you want. If you need to go into something, you have a subject that we need to go in depth on, we will go in depth on it and get that solved for you during that live broadcast. If you want us to show you how to find some great freight, we will do that for you during that live broadcast. So we'll answer any question, help you solve any problems you need to solve during that live broadcast. You also get a live industry advice line every Wednesday and Thursday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Feel free to give me a call. Okay, if you got a problem, questions, you're a dispatcher and you're trying to figure something out, if you're a freight broker, you're trying to figure something out, if you're a truck driver, you're trying to figure something out, if you're part of our mentorship program, you'll be able to give us a call on Wednesdays and Thursdays between the hours of 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. Okay. You'll also have access to our private consultation. Now, the subscription mentorship gets you one free private consultation per month. Anything other than that, you're going to have to schedule your private consultation. Those are booked at $100 per hour. Okay. So that's our mentorship program. Okay. That's our mentorship. That's as close to a mentorship program as we can give you, and without it, putting us in the, under the bank, not making any money. All right, because no one's going to be able to mentor you for free. Let's be real about that, and let's be honest about that, and let's be fair. No one can afford to mentor you for free. So that's our mentorship program. Okay. You get access to myself, you get access to our training. We're also going to give you access to our back office site at the National Dispatch Network, where you have access to tools, resources, load boards, and things like that. Everything you need to pretty much help you to dispatch freight and to broker freight. All right. So thank you all. I appreciate you all for joining me again here. And For those of you who want to get in on our franchising, no opportunity, look us up. Go to hollaboard.org, go over to the more section, you see the franchise button, click that, and just follow the prompts, or just give me a call. I'll be happy to answer questions for you. Thank you all, and y'all have a good night. See y'all next week.